Okay, welcome to my online MEN 1005 SolidWorks class. In the past, I have shown my students how to set up the template for the drawings on an online session. These were poorly attended, so this semester I decided I would record this so that everybody has a chance to see it. And I will also demonstrate how I would like for you to add your name as part of the feature to each part. So, to begin with, I am operating 2000 Windows, yeah, SolidWorks 2016. If you're using SolidWorks 2014, these steps should still be valid. I can't think of anything that I would be doing here that would not work in 2014 as well. In fact, there are some things that I could do in 2014 that I'm not able to do in 2016, and it's kind of frustrating. Basically, what it is I set up my drawings in 2014 that showed the path to where the models were saved on the server so that when I took them to my machinist, we could easily open them up and know where they were. That is no longer available in 2016. I think it's because SolidWorks is trying to get you to purchase their PDM Works, which is a file management system that we don't have that at my office. You'll notice also in SolidWorks 2016 compared to 2014 that 90% of the color is gone from the icons on the screen. That was the biggest hurdle I had to overcome in switching from 2014 to 2016. I didn't like the lack of color. However, after a year, I don't notice it as much anymore. So anyway, it may sound odd, but to begin with setting up the template in your in your drawings, I will begin with setting up some things inside of a part. So open up a new part, and SolidWorks has the ability to take information out of your part and bring it automatically into your drawing title block. So there's a few things that I like to set up here in my part. So if you'll come over here to File and Properties, it'll bring up this screen here. Make sure that you're clicked on the Custom tab. Okay, to begin with, the first thing we're going to add is a description as the property name. We want that to be a text, and right at the moment we're not going to put any value in this because we're going to set this up as our part template. So the next property we want to add here is material. So you come down here, just select the material text, and then over here on this box from the drop down menu, select material. You'll notice over here the evaluated values is not specified, which it's not. And then thirdly, what we're going to do, one thing I like to do on my drawings is add the weight. This tells me how much each part is going to weigh based on the properties set up in SolidWorks. So come over here to this one, and from the drop down menu select mass. And I also like to add an LBS at the end that specifies that the weight is shown in pounds. Okay, you can select anything else on here you like to add. I'll also add a finish on there if I'm doing an anodize or a nickel plating. I'll come in and change all this. There's no finish call out here, but you can just type in here, if you're going to do an anodize, and then whether type 2, type 3, and the color, you can add all that information in here, and that will show up on your drawing. I'll also set this. The good thing about having this set up as one of the custom properties is I believe the way I set up my drawing, I can add the finish on the drawing and it will update it in here in the custom properties on the part. So we want to leave this blank, otherwise it's going to show up anodized on every part that you make. So we'll select OK on that. If you want to change some other things in your part, you're more than welcome to. This is your part. If you go to custom or the document properties into units. You can select either military millimeter gram seconds. 50 years of working in the inch, it's hard for me to convert to metric system. So I keep my units in inch, pounds, and seconds. Um, One of the dimensions here. Um, I like to keep a three-place decimal point. Um, it's going to say that it's modified, which I'm fine with that. And then also, this more will apply to drawings than parts, and that's the center between extension lines. So we'll select OK on that. You can make any changes you want within your part, something that you're going to want repeated over and over so that you don't have to go in and manually change them every time you open a part. And once you've established all the settings you like on your part, then you can come up here to File and do a Save As, and then as a file type, scroll down to Part Template. Now a couple things here. One is I like to click in here and do a Control C, and then in a Word document or other kind of document, paste that in there so that I know where I'm saving these files to. Um, then you can pick the part name. I will select this part because this is for Solid Community College. I'll do an SLCC underscore part and then hit save. And now this is saved as a part template, and we can see that if we go to our File Explorer, and then if we take that address that we just copied over to the Word document, it'll take us in there, and we can see right here as SLCC underscore part. So this is the part document. Here's the standard template, and then the one that we just created. We'll move this out of the way for right now. Okay, so now the drawing. So we'll come over here and open up a drawing, and we'll say OK. Okay, and now this is a personal preference as far as this class, my students is concerned. You can use whichever format you prefer. In my office, I have converted everybody over to a B-size sheet. Okay, a standard B-size sheet is 11 by 17. However, it prints out really nicely on an 8.5 by 11. It's a little small, but it is still very legible. I give these to my machinists all the time, and they've never complained about not being able to see. But the thing I like about it over an A-size sheet is you've got a lot of real estate here in which you can put your drawing views, your extruded views, your cutaway views. It gives you a lot more room to work. Okay, so we're not going to add anything view-wise to this because we're building our template. So now if you'll scroll down here to the title block, and if you right mouse click, go to Edit Sheet Format, and that'll bring this up. Okay, and then once we're in the Edit Sheet Format, if you right mouse click one more time and go to Title Block Fields, okay, that's going to bring this up, all these little X's and O's, and this over here says to select notes that will become editable text boxes in the title block. So these are things that you can manually change on your drawing that will update back into your part. So I would select the material, the finish. We have the drawing by and the date, whoever checked it, and the date they checked it. Engineering approval, manufacturing approval. We don't have that in our office, but we still do it. QA, I do all the QA, so I do this one. The title. Now, if you set up your part right, the description in your part will come in as, is it the description? I think it's the description. I think it's the description comes in as your title. And we'll leave this block and this block unselected. And we'll say OK. And now we will take a note, which is a text block, and we'll bring it in here. We'll scroll up. I'm just rotating my center wheel and put this in here and stretch it out to fit this box, and then we'll do a center. Don't do that. Sorry. Yeah. Come on. You can move. Whoa. Okay. Get out of here. Come on. Move. Move. Okay. It's not playing nice today, so we will just do it this way and move it. No, you can't do that to me. I'm the teacher. I may have to edit that part out. Um, and put you kumquat. Okay, maybe we won't center our text on it. Okay, we're just gonna do a bunch of revert. I definitely got to edit that part out of this thing. Okay, so in this block here, if we do a note, it brings up a text box, and we can put that in here and stretch it to fill our box. And then in here you can customize this to your personal likings. Like maybe spell your name right. um, I don't equal nothing. Come on, hit the right button. And spring 2017. And then you can move that to where it's centered. You can play with the fonts, size, colors, shapes, whatever you want, and that will be fine. Okay, and now when you're done, if you'll do an edit, go back to edit sheet, you now have your sheet set up the way you want it, a title block, a drawing. Okay, and then for those fields that we just selected, if you come down here and double click in there and double click in there and double click in there, come on, I gotta edit all that out. So we're gonna start all over and not start without. Okay, so now that we have our part template defined, we can modify our temple. Okay, we're going to edit that out. Um, Now that our part, okay, one, two, three. Now that we have our part template defined, we can do the same for our title block in our drawing. So we will open a new drawing. You double click on that, and I like to use the B-sides sheet. In this class, you can use whichever you prefer, either the A, B, C, D, E, whichever choice you want. But I like the B size. Um, it it comes in a 11 by 17 sheet, which it'll still print out nicely on an 8.5 by 11, but it gives you a lot more real estate in order to put your drawings, your cutaway views. Um, it makes a much nicer drawing in my opinion. Um, and this is what we use at my office. So we're not going to bring in any views right now because we're building a template. So let's scroll in to the title block, and if you right mouse and come down here to edit sheet format, and that'll bring you into this editing option, and everything turned blue. So these things are editable. If you'll right mouse click one more time and go to title block fields, that'll bring up this setting, this menu block over here. This is asking you to select which of these fields do you want to be able to edit from the main level of the drawing. When you come right in, you can just double click on these and edit these fields. I personally select these two so that I can change those. And if you're doing your draw by the date, a check by date, I go ahead and select all these over here. Um, and the title. The title is generally the description that you use for the part. It'll come in. The drawing number is based off of the file name, the way you save the part. That'll default to, not the part, is the part? Yeah, I think it is the part. Um, Man, just so many things have become automatic that I just, are you guys selected? Yeah, you're selected. Okay, so we'll find out here. So once you've selected all those, hit OK, and then in this box up here, let's go ahead and bring down a text box, and we'll scroll into here a little bit bigger, and we'll place this text box, um, and no, and we'll make it a little bit bigger. Okay, this text box is a little screwy to work with, because if you try to center your text right now, it's going to center that box to where the cursor is, and it's yeah, not as easy to work with as you would think. So you can customize this to however you want. I put my name and that this is spring 2017. Um, okay, and once that's done, then we can grab that and get out of the text box edit mode, and we can grab this and just center it down there where we like. Okay, you can customize this however you want. You can put in your own little icons in there. You can change the font color, shape, size, whatever you like. Just personalize it to make it yours. And once you're done with that, then you come back here and go to edit sheet, and that'll bring you back to the main level of the drawing. And now you should be able to come down. You see when the cursor's here, you see this orange box come around. That means that it is set up to be editable. So if you double click in here, it'll show you all the fields that you can now change. And because we don't have a part associated with this drawing yet, we don't want to be changing any of those things yet. So we'll hit OK and go back here. So one more thing we want to change in here is if we go up to settings, and again, this is my personal preference. It's not required for the class. Only thing that's really required is that you put your name down here in the drawing. I like that on my dimensions to be in 3 places, which in my company is plus or minus 5 thousandths tolerance on the sizes, and I also like to have my dimensions centered between the extension lines automatically, so I don't have to go in and change those. So we've got those changed. You can change other things here that you like. You can like if you come into linear, you can change whether it's on the inside or the outside of the dimension lines. If it's aligned with the edges when you're going on an angle, um, bent leaders, straight leaders, a lot of things that you can change in here. You can change the arrow style, make any changes you like. Again, you can personalize this however you want. I don't have a set standard on what you need to do. Okay, so now I got the drawing basically the way I would like it to open up every time, so that I don't have to make those changes every time I do a new drawing. So now we will come up here and do a save as, and there's a couple of things we want to do here. First off, we want to do the save as a drawing template. Okay, and this will also default back to the place where we had our template for our part. So we'll do an SL, get right down here in the right field, SLCC, and you see the part pulls up, but this is going to be a drawing. Okay, and we'll do a save. Okay, and one more thing you want to do with this is come to File, Save Sheet Format. Okay, and this is going to go into your sheet format folder. Again, if you like, you can do a copy of the address and paste it down here on this sheet so that you have it for future reference. And then you don't want to override the existing one. You can if you'd like, but then you lose it forever. So I just put an SLCC underscore in front of it. Now I have an SLCC B size landscape drawing format. And so now I'll hit save. Okay, and you notice, okay, so the file name does change with the drawing. Now see, here's a problem that I've found in the past too. The drawing numbers do default to the name of the drawing, not the part. But you see, the name of the part is overflowing the box that is allowed for it. And we can easily change that by going back to Edit Sheet Format. And we come down here, and if we select this, and we pick a smaller font size, okay, and then um, okay, once you're out of it, you can move it around to wherever you like. Leave it centered off to one side. And again, this one here will probably be the same thing if you have a long description of your part, so you can change the font size of that, bring it down a bit. And I found that for the parts that we do in my office, I've had to go down size on those because it just overruns and it doesn't produce a very nice looking drawing. The weights and these things are overriding in this format, but when you get out of this view, go back to and not edit text. Where am I in? Oh, I've got things selected. Go back to edit sheet. I just hit the escape button to get rid of all that stuff. And now you see that things are nicely set so that they're not overrunning the boxes. Okay, so we've made a change. So now we got to go back and do the save as again. A drawing template, SLCC, and we'll save that. We want to replace it. And then we also want to go file, save as, not save as, you dummy. Go file, save sheet format. Down here to the SLCC underscore B, save. Anytime you make a change to the layout that you want to keep for future drawings, you'll have to resave your formats and your templates. Okay, so now I was doing this just before creating this video. I've gotten this to work at my office, but some reason I could not get it to function here for this video. So there's a couple of things we can do. First off, if we go to settings and come over here to default templates, so now this is going to default to that same location where we saved everything. And for the first one here is parts. We should be able to pick on SLCC part and say OK. And now you'll notice that here in this box it says SLCC part. And if we change this down here to the SLCC drawing, and you'll see that it is there. Okay, and if we say OK, at my office now, if I was to come in here and open a part, it would be the SLCC part. But for some reason, this version on my computer here isn't doing that because we go to properties, they're gone. All the changes we made are gone. So what you can do, if it doesn't work for you like it's not working for me, is if you go to the file open and go to the advanced tab, and here it lists the SLCC files. So if you double click on the SLCC part, you'll see that all the changes we made are there. Okay, so that is how you need to set up, or how you can set up, a title block for your drawings and your parts. So now to demonstrate the features that I just showed here with the custom properties in the part brought into the drawing, and how to put your name on each part, I will demonstrate by just building a simple block. So I'm going to do an extrusion, and a couple of things here on this too. I've read through the textbook. It is a good textbook. It will teach you how to use SolidWorks. But after using SolidWorks for 100 years, I have found a lot of shortcuts that are not in that textbook. So I will demonstrate some of them here on this drawing. I guess I could get out a textbook and draw one of your parts. I was just going to do a basic block, and so maybe instead we will draw one of these parts here, and I will just do it the way that I draw, or not draw, the way that I model my parts. So what I'm going to do is I am going to do the part that is in figure 1-18, drawing polygons. Okay, so I'm going to do this drawing on the front plane. It doesn't really matter which plane you pick, as long as you pick one of them. I have found that for me at my office, if I draw on the front plane, when I export my SolidWorks models into Gibbs CAM, which is a CAD CAM system, not a CAD, it's the CAM portion of the CAD CAM system, for creating programs to run on the machine, it brings it in oriented in the position that I need for Gibbs. So I don't have to mess around too much with the model. Um, so the way I like to do it is I like to work from the center. I like the origin to be in the center of my part. The biggest reason why I like to do that is because in an assembly, if I'm trying to mate two parts that I want to be symmetric to each other in some way, I can always put it on a plane. I don't have to draw another reference plane. I don't have to draw sketches. I don't have to figure out, okay, well, if I'm 100 thousandths on this side, that'll make it symmetric. If I draw everything with the origin in the center, then I can take a plane and mate those planes together and they'll be symmetric. Again, this is my personal preference. You will not be graded on that. I'm looking for that you're able to create the shapes and whatnot that are required. Okay, so with that being said, the first thing I like to do is I draw me a couple of axes that give me um, the center of my um, origin here. So we'll just make those. I'm selecting the line and the midpoint and just making them in the middle of the part. Okay, so now this thing has an odd shape, so it looks something like this. Okay, and seeing that didn't go up, that's okay. We can just grab that and bring it up here. Okay, so now I like to, I'll take these guys and I'll make them symmetric. I'll take these guys and make them symmetric. I'll take this guy here and this guy and put him in the mid plane, which definitely, is kind of redundant because we've got these things symmetric about the planes. So now we'll bring in our dimensions, and here is where setting up English and metric could be an issue, okay, because these parts here, what are these? Are these given in inches? Um, I think these are inches, and they sure very tight tolerance on there at 4 decimal places. Okay, I'm going to interpret those as being in inches. And so the first one is dimensioned from the center line to over here to be in 3 inches. Okay, now let's say that instead of inches that was actually millimeters and you're in an inch system. If you were just to come in here and type 3 mm, it would see it as 3 millimeter. Okay, but we're not 3 inches. Oh, and I don't like that format.
Okay.
But we're 3 inches. Um, Okay, and then center, top, and bottom is kind of difficult to do on this one because you got such odd shapes going here. But we're gonna do okay. Well, let's put in. We're gonna have a center line for the hex. We'll put the slot on this one, and then we're gonna have the hole down here, and that's supposed to be horizontal. Okay, and so we have here from here to here is going to be 1 inch, and then I'm guessing that's inch and a half from there to there, 1.5, and then 2 inches from there to here. Okay, and okay, that should all be black now. Those should be onto there. Oh, we haven't described these points. Oh, this point is the one that's at 2 inches too. So we'll just grab that line and no, and that line and make them coincident. So that brings those up to the same point. Okay, and then we need some radiuses on the corners. We got a 375. I'm guessing it's on all three corners. No. Okay, so it's on this corner. Yes. Okay, it's just because I've got things equal here in the midpoint because of the radius shortening up to one end. It's saying, do you want to maintain the center line or change it? I want it to maintain. And then that one, okay, we'll call those good. And then we have a 500 thousandths radius in this corner and this corner. We'll call that good. Okay. Um, I guess we got holes in the center of all those things. Okay, so let's do a hole here. You're gonna have a hole there, a hole here. Where is it? A hole here, a hole here. Okay, and these things drive me nuts, so I'm going to hide um, sketch relations. They just get in my way. If I want to see what the relation is, I'll just pick on the two parts or two features. So if we click all of these guys here now, and we can come over here and make them equal, and then one dimension here at 375 makes all our holes in. Okay, and next we got a slot. Where's my slot feature at? Right here. So we're going to have a slot here. We're going to put, which one is it? We'll go with this one. We're going to go from the center out and out. Hit escape to get out of that, and it has a radius of 2.25. Go to our smart dimension, radius 0.25, and it doesn't tell us how long it is. Okay, so what is each block equal to? 1 inch is 4 blocks, so that would be 1.5 inches to the center. So if we go from there to there is 1 point, too many points, 0.5. Okay, and then we need to put some hexagons in here. So we'll do this one, six-sided, and we'll use this here for the center point and come out. 6 points, and make this one horizontal. And I just pushed the S key to bring up this box here. And I'm going to do a smart dimension. It always does that to me. And from here to here is 1 inch. And it looks like we're 1 inch from here to here. Get off of that. And I just hit escape to get it off of the um, trend, the center line over here. So we want 1 inch. Okay, so now we got that, and we come in here, select that, select this, and go back to where is it? Um, Mirror entities. There it is. And so we have just modeled that thing. Okay, now one thing that the book says to do is that once you're done with your drawing, you come over here and you close the sketch, and then you come over here and select the feature and do your extrude. Okay, you can bypass all that. Once you're done with your sketch, if you go straight to extrude, it'll close your sketch and bring up the extrude dialog box and say how thick I don't know what its thickness is supposed to be. We'll just go 1/2 inch thick and hit OK, and I said OK, and you have a part. Okay, you'll have to excuse me if I seem a little lost here. I haven't set up um, my features here the way I use them in my office, so I have to look for things. Um, the next video, things will be set up the way I'm normally, so I'm not looking for them. But then again, it's a good thing because this is probably the way your guys' is set up, and I'd hate for you to see mine and say, where did he come that from? So I guess I'll learn how to do this. Okay, so here's the part modeled. Now what I would like for you to do is add one more feature, and that's your name. So pick any flat surface. It don't matter where it is as long as it's a flat surface, and do a cut extrude or an extruded cut. Okay, and then up here on this A text, pick the text box, and then just type in your name. Okay, and you'll notice it came down here in the origin. So if you'll click over here, it'll move over. It'll go wherever you click the button. Just somewhere on that surface, it doesn't matter where. And then hit OK, and then hit the extrude exit sketch, and it will bring up the dialog box. And just do a 5 thou depth cut. Why are you making me push it twice? I don't have to do it twice. It shouldn't have to do it twice. And then so there's your name. And if you want to make it stand out even more, you can select that feature. Go to um, you could, if I could find it. See, there's a box missing that I'm used to seeing. Um, okay, I might have to find that. That's not the one I want. I'm gonna have to edit this part out because I don't want to show them that I don't know what I'm doing. Yeah. Okay. Um, is it this one? Yeah, it is that one. Okay. So after, okay, testing 1, 2, 3, let's go. After you have done your cuts, if you want to, make it stand out a little bit more, select that feature, come up here and select this button here, which is it allows you to change the features, the colors and whatnot of your features, and you can pick any color and say OK. And you can do that with any feature of your part. You can do it with the whole part if you select the part name up here, or individual features. Or if you want, you could come down here and tell it to select just certain surfaces. So if you just wanted that surface to be, let's say, yellow, I said surface, select face. Oh, because part 3 is selected, so we'll delete that. So now if you just got that face, now that face there is the only one that is colored yellow. Again, it's not required. It's just something for you to play with. Okay, now that we have this modeled, let's show how the properties that we put into our model template are reflected in the drawing. So we'll save the model, and I'm just going to call it a demo part with an A. Hey, I got an A on it. Okay, and then we are going to push this button right here, which transfers, and I'm hoping you have this button on your setup in SolidWorks. This takes this part and puts it into a drawing. We will select the SLCC drawing, and then we'll pick our parts. You'll learn this in later chapters, and we'll pick our views. I like to make this a little bit smaller so that it doesn't take up so much of this. Oh, that's too small. Page. Let's just do this. Show the machinist what the part looks like in 3D mode. Make it solid. But you'll notice here that it brought in the name of the part as the part file drawing number. Demo part. Okay, the material is not specified. So if we click on this, we should be able to, it brings up the material properties of SolidWorks. Let's just pick some kind of material, it doesn't matter. Say OK and close, and now it has changed. Let's let's be fancy and chrome plate it. Okay, and we'll close that. Okay, and if you pull in some dimensions, you'll notice even though I'm way off center here, it's snapped. Like that one's kind of hard to see. Let's do this one. See, I'm off to the side. Poof! It snapped to the center. Okay, I like. It makes a much nicer drawing. But what I'm trying to demonstrate here is not this, because you'll learn this in a later chapter. But the features here. Okay, we changed the material in our part. We did not, when I built the part in the model, I did not select material or a finish. So now if we go back to our part, if you right mouse click and click on this button right here, it'll take you back to the part. And you'll notice here the material has changed. It is now 1020 steel. And if we go up here and look at the properties, we'll see that chrome plating has been added to this file here. So that is why I like to set up the title block in the way that I have. You can change them here, or you can change them in the model. They'll both be reflected in both places. If you want to do a description here, um, 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 made, okay, and select the OK button. And now I'm just doing a control tab to go back and forth between my parts. We'll come up here, and again, if we go to our properties, we'll see that the description has now been moved over here into the properties. It is a really nice feature to use. Um, okay, let me know if you got any questions.